What's up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with a Destiny video, and today we're going to be talking about something interesting that's coming up in Destiny, and that is going to be how to get ready for the House of Wolves expansion. If you plan on purchasing the expansion, or if you don't, hopefully this will be a helpful video on how you can prepare either way, because even if you do not purchase the DLC, you will still be able to partake in things like the new Vanguard and Crucible gear that's going to be brought out with that DLC. So basically, all we know right now is that House of Wolves will be coming out sometime in the second quarter of the year, and that could be any time between April and June, hopefully sooner. But the general consensus in the community and amongst the experts, so to speak, seems to be that House of Wolves is going to release around May 19th. That was the big rumor in February, that it was the leaked date from Bungie, that we would be getting House of Wolves May 19th. I hope it is. If not, if it is May 19th, great. If not, I hope it's sooner, because if they put it off till June, there's just not a whole lot to do right now in the game. But hopefully we get that sooner rather than later. But what I want to talk about today, hopefully this is just going to be a real quick video, and then I'll probably do a little bit of a refresher on this a week or two before the actual expansion comes out. And what we're going to talk about really is, what you can do to be prepared for the expansion when it releases, because there's going to be new gear, you're going to need those Vanguard commendations and whatnot. So the one thing, first off, I want to get out of the way right now, and I'm about 99.875% sure this is true, is do not hoard your engrams and do not hoard any of the packages you get from the Cryptarch or from factions or from the Vanguard, because they will not award you the new gear that comes out. If you get any engrams or packages through the Postmaster prior to when the actual DLC date drops, that stuff is going to be all old gear. It's going to be older gear. You're not going to really get any of the new items for that. And I've seen people say that's possible, but I know for a fact when I played before the Dark Below, that does not work. Anything that you purchased or acquired prior to the DLC coming out is going to give you the older gear. So those engrams you save up that is legendaries are not going to give you new legendary gear or any of the new exotics. So just to get that out of the way, right away there, so you guys aren't banking on that. Now, despite that, there are a few things you can do in order to maximize your return when the DLC comes out. Now, the first thing is your Vanguard and your Crucible marks. What you want to do is about 2 weeks before the DLC drops is just save as many as you can. Now, you can get up to 200 of those marks. You can earn 100 per week, but you can only, I believe, carry 200 in capacity. So you want to go ahead and max those out, 200 Vanguard marks and 200 Crucible marks. Now, if you're just a simple PvE player, then you probably don't care much about the Crucible side of it, but if you really want to make the most of this, you will maximize both of those to 200 about 2 weeks before the game comes out, and just hang on to those marks, because what's going to happen is as soon as the reset occurs and House of Wolves is live, you're going to be able to purchase that new Vanguard gear, that new Crucible gear right away, and 200 marks basically is enough to buy you a weapon for 150 marks, or 2 pieces of armor that are the cheaper pieces of armor, the legs, the arms. You can usually pick one of those up right away as soon as the DLC's out, if you have those marks stored up, and the commendations, which was the other thing I was going to mention. If you have those all stashed up, you're going to be able to start off right away as soon as the DLC opens up with some of that new armor or those new weapons. And also have the commendations. Like I said, you can start hoarding those now. I've got 12 Crucible commendations stored up. On my Titan, I've actually started running just the Vanguard for reputation, because I want to have enough Vanguard commendations to be able to purchase some of the items in the armor when it comes out. Now, one thing to do if you want to really maximize this is run 3 characters. And like I have right now, I decided to switch my Titan over to run Vanguard. I have my Warlock who's still running New Monarchy, and then my Hunter, when I eventually get him leveled up to 20, he's going to probably be Dead Orbit, and I'm going to grind those 2 out for faction packages, trying to get some of those faction weapons and items. But my Titan, I'm going to focus on running Vanguard so that I can stock up on some Vanguard commendations. I want to get at least you know, 4 or 5 of those, so that when the the DLC comes out, I'll have 3 characters with 200 marks apiece, so I can buy, you know, three weapons from the Vanguard or the factions I use, or I can buy a bunch of armor with those marks. So that's one thing I'm planning on doing about 2 weeks before the actual DLC comes out, when they release the date, is I'm going to save up, you know, 200 marks, and between now and then I'm going to grind plenty of Vanguard commendations, and I've already got some Crucible commendations saved up. So that's definitely going to be something you can do to help yourself out. And even if you don't buy the DLC, you will be able to still purchase gear from the vendors, from the Vanguard, from the Crucible Quartermaster, from your faction vendors. Now, when Dark Below came out, they did not change the actual faction items that were sold. Like New Monarchy, they're still selling the Vanquisher, they're still selling the Judgment shotgun, things like that. So I don't know, I don't think they're going to actually change the faction gear, but it will be the better stats. Like if it gets you to level 33, or if it's the new weapon, whatever, if it's 360, whatever the new weapon damage is going to be, those weapons and armor will all be the newer statistics, so you'll still be able to purchase those. So that's going to be, you know, pretty good to have those marks and those commendations stocked up. That'll let you get that gear really, really quick. The other thing I would recommend is you probably want to start saving strange coins. Now, we're almost, you know, we're 6 months into the game, and Sirus Inventory doesn't change up that much during the weeks that he comes. If by now you don't really have any of a good, you know, I would think by now you would actually have most of the exotics you want. And if there's one that you're still looking for, like Gallarhorn, he's probably not going to be selling it, you know, just because that's how his luck seems to have been. So what I would suggest is save your strange coins, save your motes of light, and kind of stockpile those, so that way when the DLC comes out, you will have all those strange coins piled up in order to purchase whatever new items he brings. Usually, like with the Dark Below, I think when it came out, he had some of the newer gear, the new exotics, when he showed up that week for the armor and the weapons. So if you have all those strange coins saved up, you know, you'll be able to purchase some of those exotics, those newer exotics, right away, right off the bat when he shows up. So that's my plan, really. You know, but I'm lucky in that I do have a lot of the exotic weapons that I, you know, already wanted. You know, I have Hard Light, I have Sirus Regime, I have Red Death on my Warlock, I've got Universal Remote, Bad Juju. About the only exotic I still want to pick up is going to be Thorn, and I'm working on that bounty right now. So that's when I'm trying to get him on the last, second to last stage on that one. But so by now, unless you're just a new player to the game, there's probably not much that Xur has anyways that you're looking to get. So start stocking up on those strange coins and those motes of light. So if he brings those exotic engrams, you'll have even more chances of getting some of the newer exotic gear pieces. The only thing I would maybe suggest you could purchase are some of his telemetries. That way, if you do decide to buy a new weapon with the Vanguard or the Crucible right away, then you'll have a telemetry that you can use to start leveling those up really quick, so you have those new weapons leveled up pretty fast after they come out. And finally, the last little tip I would give is to keep an eye on your reputation levels. Because like I mentioned in the beginning, if you get those faction packages, the Cryptarch packages, or the engrams prior to House of Wolves, those are not going to turn into new gear. But what you can do is, like you see here with New Monarchy, I'm at 234 out of 2500. What you want to do is a few days before the DLC comes out, get your reputation rank as close to 2500 as possible without going over. So like if you can get to 2400, if you can get to 2450, just do not go over 2500 to trigger the package being sent. What I would suggest is getting as many factions as you can to that point where you would be getting a package at 2500. Get it as close to 2500 as possible. With the Crucible, with Vanguard, with factions, with the Cryptarch. You know, with the Cryptarch, get it to like 2900 or whatever. And get it so that you only need a little bit of reputation to push each of those over the edge to 2500. Because what you can do that on all 3 characters, again. And then the second part of this is you want to stack up your bounties. A couple of days before the DLC is going to drop, pack up, you know, have all 10 bounty slots full with bounties that are completed, because like you see here, you get 100 reputation, 100 reputation, 50 reputation, whatever it is. If you have 10 of these saved up on each of your characters. As soon as that DLC drops, you go and you turn in all those bounties. And what happens is, if you have all these factions within, say, 50 or 100 points of hitting that next rank, one bounty apiece, you change out your class item, you turn in, like, say, New Monarchy, put on your class item, turn in a bounty for 100 reputation, and then boom, you got a package from New Monarchy. Go to your Future War Cult, put your item on, turn another bounty in, boom, you got another package. With Dead Orbit, with Vanguard, Crucible, rinse and repeat. If you can do that on all 3 characters, and you've made that preparation up until that point, you will get, that's a bunch of packages you can get right there. If you've got all these leveled up close to that that area, you can get a Cryptarch package, you can get a Vanguard, and Crucible, or 3 factions, so you can get up to 4 or 5 packages per character right as soon as the DLC drops, and those will have the newer items in them, because you're getting them after the DLC has the resets gone through and the DLC is active. Because on the older packages, what happens is, when you actually get that package, it's already predetermined the items that you can get in there, so those won't be able to change into new items. But if you do this, where you save it up and then you kick it over a reputation rank after the DLC comes out, you're actually going to be getting those newer items from the Vanguard, from the Crucible. The factions will give you their regular items, but they'll be with the newer gear levels. So that's one way to do that. And like I said, if you're on all 3 characters, that's if you do this right perfectly, you can get 4 to 5 packages per character. So that's almost 15 packages of new gear that you can get right away as soon as the DLC comes out. And if you don't have time right now, if you've only, say, playing 2 characters or 1 character, like for me personally, I mostly play on my Titan, and then I've also got a Warlock that I play a little bit on, and my Hunter is my least used character, plus I'm using him for my level 1 to 20 guide, which I need to get back on. You've got plenty of time, because right now, even if it does come out in April, you got a couple of weeks. It only takes about 7 or 8 hours to get through the campaign, and you only need to be level 20 to really start. Actually, you only need to be level 18 to start getting marks and earning that reputation with the Vanguard and the factions. Factions are level 20 you have to get to, but so you can start right even on a newer character, leveling up those factions, leveling up the Vanguard, getting those marks, and setting yourself up. So if you only have 1 or 2 characters, you might want to take the time to roll another class, maybe a class you don't play, and level that up so that you can take another crack at having more ability to get some of those items when the DLC comes out. And that's basically what I would suggest. Just kind of a little quick look at how you can really set yourself up to maximize your time, and that you'll have a little bit less grind. That way, when House of Wolves comes out, you'll be able to grab some newer items right away, start leveling up that new vendor armor to get a higher level, or whatever it is. So I will probably do like a refresher on this video when we get a concrete release date a couple of weeks ahead of the launch of House of Wolves, so I can kind of remind you guys. But otherwise, you can kind of start now. You got a couple months, start saving those strange coins, start stockpiling those commendations, and like I said, don't worry about saving your engrams or your packages, because I think regardless of what anyone tells you or what you hear, that's not going to work, just like it didn't with the Dark Below. So hope you guys have found this video helpful, and I hope some of you will be able to take advantage of some of this advice and be able to grab some really cool gear right off the bat when House of Wolves comes out. Leave me a note in the comments. Let me know what you're looking forward to with House of Wolves. If you have any other tips and things that you're going to be doing to prepare for the new release. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video and found it helpful, and I will see you again next time.